So I've been questioning something lately. Am I still an atheist? So a while back, when I was like 25 or whatever, I decided that I was going to start calling myself a wizard. Now, previously to this, or I think it was 24, 25. I started calling myself a magician. And previously to this, I had been a militant level atheist. I had been a big proponent of atheism. And when people still ask what my religious beliefs are, I will still say that I am an atheist. But I watched an old video of mine, and I've realized that though I'm still an atheist, I am a very different atheist today from the kind of atheist that I was a few years ago. So, one of the things that's changed is my beliefs about belief. There was a time when I thought all belief was inherently evil and bad. That believing things was just simply not as good as knowing them. And I would say that that's still true for me. That I think that knowing something is better than believing in something. For instance, I think that it's better to truly observe something, a claim about the universe, than it is to just claim it without evidence. But on a personal level, as in beliefs that only affect your actions, I would say you can never really know for certain what's right and wrong in terms of what to do in life. And the only way to act in a way consistent with your moral view is to have strongly held beliefs about things. You can believe in all of the objective morality principles that you want to, but if you don't feel those beliefs strongly, they won't motivate you to act in accordance with your moral code. It does take willpower and dedication to develop a moral code. And everybody should have a moral code, whether they be an atheist or a religious person. Now, atheism does not inherently rob you of your moral code. Some Christians make the claim that when you become an atheist, you're now a godless heathen and you'll do whatever you want. I found that not to be the case. I didn't want to kill anybody before becoming an atheist, and I didn't want to kill anybody afterwards. And even in times when I've gotten severely angry, I never thought, well, at least I won't go to hell if I do something bad to somebody. That thought has never crossed my mind. So if you have a morality as a Christian, you'll probably continue to have that morality as an atheist. You might loosen up on some lesser things that are not universally agreed to be wrong, but the big ones, stealing, killing, raping, war, murder, etc., you're probably not going to soften up on just because you converted to atheism. But our internal beliefs important? I mean, the things that we observe to be true about life in our own lives. I would say they are. I would say it's important to believe in gratitude for the life you're given. If you can say one to three things in life that you're grateful for every morning. You wake up in the morning when you're feeling sluggish and slow, and you say, "I'm grateful my light's turned on. I'm grateful I have water to wash my face with or drink or whatever. I'm grateful that I have food." Just that will make you a happier person over time, because your attitude towards life from the very beginning of your awakeness during the day is going to be reinforced with the idea that life is a gift and not something to be dreaded. You're embracing the concept that life is something nice to be doing. So being grateful for things is a belief. I don't have any studies to say people who are grateful for things are happier, but you kind of know it, right? Like, if you look around, people that are grateful for things are like happy, and people who aren't. And people who are grateful for things are nicer because they don't take anything for granted. They give you a lot of appreciation when you give them nice things, and they generally have a healthier, more positive attitude towards life, right? So gratitude and forbearance, I believe, are very good beliefs. And while there isn't much science to back me up on that, It's very true in my life that gratitude helps me to live a healthier existence. And that's just one example of that kind of thing. The longer I stayed an atheist, the more beliefs I recognized in myself. And the question is, do I get rid of these beliefs that benefit me just because they are beliefs and I don't have evidence for them? If I was a militant atheist trying to suss out all belief from my being, I might do that. I might say, these beliefs are poisonous because they're not founded on anything. But if something makes your individual life and the life of others better, then why not continue believing the thing? Why? Now, somebody could use that argument for religion. They could say, well, religion makes my life better, so I should continue believing in it. And my counter to that is that religion is not a claim about how one should personally conduct themselves. Religion is a claim about the functioning of the universe. Religions deny the existence of the prehistoric age, dinosaurs, the age of the earth, and all kinds of other things. They deny the morality of same-sex marriages and a bunch of other, concepts that are perfectly benign. So religion is sort of a different beast than to believe something on a personal level, because religion makes claims about the universe that personal beliefs don't necessarily make. So I've become a strong believer in personal beliefs. As Nietzsche kind of purported, nihilism is meant to destroy the implication that the universe gives you a reason to exist, and instead gives you the power to find a reason to exist, a meaning to life on your own. And so that's what giving up religion and then accepting personal belief has done for me. It's allowed me to give up the assumed purposes for which I was supposedly created, and allowed me to not only understand how I came into existence, answering many of life's questions in the process, but also giving me the opportunity, the blank slate, to create my own meaning, which I've done. And now there is meaning in my personal universe, in my perspective universe. There is now a meaning that was originally shattered when I gave up God. Now, I was not a Christian. I was a deist. But I thought God had, great plans for me. I thought that I was owed a good life, and that attitude was not helping me. I thought that if I pleased God by being a good human, that I would be rewarded. But that's not a one-to-one thing. It's more like if you take care of life, if you prepare for the bad, revel in the good, that life will just become better. It's more about the attitude you have when facing life than it is about you getting a reward out of life. Life itself can be the reward. Saying that there should be a God rewarding you for good actions is rather missing the point of being good in the first place. And giving up religion allowed me to realize this. We're taught when we're kids to believe in Santa Claus. If you do good things, you get presents. If you do bad things, you get punished. We're taught when we're children that God works in a similar mode. If you do good things, you get to go to heaven when you die. If you do bad things, then you're sent to hell. This reward system is sort of inherent to religion, and if you were raised a Christian like I was, and then became a deist because you thought religion was bunk but the concept of God wasn't, it's very hard to separate this reward system from the concept of God itself. In fact, I think I gave up religion more so because of this belief that in this sort of cosmic God karma, this belief was much more damaging, I think, than the concept of there actually being a creator deity. Though, to be fair, the concept of a creator deity is silly. That isn't how the universe actually came to be, so far as we can tell. There's no evidence for it. So I do think the claim of there being a designer God is harmful. I don't think it's nearly as harmful as the attitude that believers take towards that God. All of this is to say, I am still an atheist. I still don't believe in God. I still don't believe that most religions are healthy for their followers. And with some exceptions. I mean, if it's healthy for you, it's healthy for you. If you're not bothering other people, you're not bothering other people, whatever. I'll leave you be. But, like, I think that there are many more examples of religion being harmful to humanity than there are for a religion being positive to humanity. Though you could argue that humanity would never have been able to structure a society in the first place without the coercion that religion brings. But I would argue that's not the case, because there are many secular societies that exist without religion, and they're doing just fine. So, obviously that's not completely true, but okay. I think people would have eventually realized that they have a better time fighting saber-toothed tigers in groups and would have formed a society in at some point anyway, whether religion had drawn them together or not. But certainly it's a very important part of human history, religion is. And I'm sure religion will play a part in human history going forward, because people believing things strongly is a pretty big deal to the goings-on in this world of ours. That's God taken care of. I can still call myself an atheist for disbelief in God, but do I believe in the other things that atheists don't like? Do I believe, for instance, in an afterlife? Okay, so atheists do not like any claim of an afterlife. Claiming like, oh, don't worry, there's someplace better, to an atheist when somebody dies is pretty much the biggest insult that you could visit upon a normal atheist. Most of them will be just like, no, they're not. They're fucking gone, okay? They're not someplace better. They're no place at all. And that sucks, because I liked having them in my life. I liked having them live their life. Fuck you for implying that being not with me, being not alive, is better for them than being alive is. And even if the person died suffering, they'll say, no, it's not that they were alive that was the problem. They're not in a better place because they're not experiencing pain now. They shouldn't have been experiencing pain in the first place. If science was better, if society was stronger, if we knew more, they wouldn't have had to die suffering and screaming. So, no, they weren't in a good place to begin with because we failed them. This sort of death blaming and this sort of trying to wash over the pain of death that religion and atheism do is hard for both sides. On the atheists' perspectives, I can see them going so far as to say, no, they're not in a better place because they're no place at all. I can see that perspective. Saying, when it comes to somebody who died being in pain, some atheists will be like, okay, at least they're no longer suffering, but others will take it as a personal challenge, like, we need to do better. And I think that personal challenge is good. It can motivate people to make scientific discoveries, it can motivate them to gear society in the direction of solving health problems, but I think it's mentally unhealthy for the individual to say, if only we were smarter, we could stop this person from dying. Things are always going to happen, guys. Like, people are always going to die. Even if you made them ageless, painless immortals, they'll still find death eventually. Accepting death is, once again, one of these personal beliefs that helps. I was all for immortality for a very long time, and I still am for the extension of human life and for potential immortality. I wanted to live infinitely and forever, thousands of years. I created a lot of procedures that I thought would extend life. Like, I have scoured pretty much every source of knowledge looking for immortality. But what I realized is accepting death is necessary for not living in fear. If you don't want to be in fear of the Reaper, if you don't want to be in fear of those around you dying, if you don't want to do things to try to control life in unnatural ways, you have to accept death. This is a personal belief thing, but accepting the finality and the naturalness of things beginning and ending, accepting the entropy of the universe, is important. Understand that when their physical structure is broken down, it will be reused by the world to create new things. Understand that when the universe breaks down, monkeys and typewriters, so the possibility of something exists, so something will exist again, even if there's nothing for a while. Accept the fact that everything that ends begins anew in a different form. This isn't woo-woo incarnation. It doesn't have the same data. It isn't reincarnation in the sense that the thing's soul is passed on, but the actual matter that makes up people is going to be recycled by the universe, and the universe itself will likely be recycled. Scientists sort of believe that there was nothing before matter, or that matter always existed. So this belief that we have that our universe is going to end is sort of ridiculous. At some point, nothing will engulf all of us. Every being will fade, even the ones that cling on the longest. But at the end of all that, when no one's looking, a true miracle, if ever there could be said to be a miracle, will happen. Matter will reemerge from the dark. Life and the possibility of life will reemerge from the darkness. And that's what I believe, anyway. I don't know how much science there is to support that. Some people call it the Big Bounce or whatever. The idea that the universe expands and then contracts. A lot of people just say that the universe will go dark forever, but if that was the case, how would it have even come into existence anyway? And most of the things we observe, we don't ever really observe matter being destroyed. So even if matter was expanded infinitely, how do you explain it being destroyed? I mean, even if it's going really, really fast because of dark matter, which we don't understand, who's to say that there's not worlds and stars and everything that consist of dark matter? We don't know what dark matter even is. So who's to say that after, dark matter expands outward, that that won't then cause the inverse effect of light matter appearing in the middle? To that dark matter world, the light matter will act as dark matter, expand outwardly in a second Big Bang, and that universe will overtake the first. Maybe it goes in this infinite light matter, dark matter loop. Maybe. I don't know. Do you know? I don't. Do you know what dark matter is? Because I don't know what dark matter is. Scientists don't know what dark matter is. So people like Neil deGrasse Tyson that are like, oh, the universe is finite. It's like, that's not what we've observed. We can look pretty far in our telescopes, and we've never seen a universe ending before. So let's not fucking assume anything, alright? I sort of wonder if you went far enough past the edge of somethingness, if you would, and you went even farther than that, if you wouldn't see trace amounts of matter past the nothingness going very, very fast from a previous expansion of the universe. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Is it a closed system? Is it not a closed system? We only have comprehension of 4 dimensions of reality out of 12 dimensions of reality, and we don't even know what those other 6 dimensions of reality even fucking are, because we're only 4-dimensional beings. So let's not be too fucking hasty here with our claims of finality to the heat death of the universe, because we don't fucking know. Okay? But anyway, all of this is to say that, do I believe in life after death? On a conceptual level, I do, in the sense that I believe that eventually most matter that has once lived will be used once again to create new life. Do I believe in reincarnation, or the soul, or the data that makes up a person existing after death? Okay, so I don't like to make assumptions about the universe unless they're extremely helpful to me. And I don't really see how believing that somebody's going to go on after they've died is extremely helpful to me. I more like to appreciate that they lived in the first place, and less like to make assumptions about what's happening after their death. But is there possibly a mechanical way that people could live after death? Well, we don't know. Again, we don't understand all of the dimensions of reality. Some people propose that there is a dream mind dimension of reality. That basically there is this zeitgeist consciousness that is a layer of the universe. And we believe this because of a couple of things. We have the observer effect. We seem to have people spontaneously learning information that other people have learned over time, which is a sort of thought convergence thing. People will know things from societies long past without them ever really remembering them. There's some really woo-woo shit that happens with the mind sometimes that scientifically is confirmed. You know what I mean? Like, there's all sorts of different brain waves that affect the body, all different. We thought that the autonomic nervous system was completely beyond control, and then Wim Hof happened. Like, it's not really fair to make assumptions about what the limits of the mind or mental dimension of reality might be if such a dimension exists. And if such a dimension exists, who's to say that the mind cannot exist there after death? I don't know that to be true, though. So I actively hold myself as if there is no life after death. But if somehow we were able to discover the dimension of reality that supposedly is this mind zone, this twilight zone, the Wonderland dimension, I don't know what you want to call it, the mindscape. If we discover something like that, then ghosts and the afterlife and that kind of shit becomes a lot more possible, because what that's always been has been, oh, well, the spirit or the mind or whatever can go on after the body has faded. And that only becomes true if there's a dimension of reality unseen to support that living mind after their physical body has given them up. So, is it possible? Maybe. I don't know. Do you know? I don't fucking... Now, atheists will claim there is no life after death, very definitively, almost with the same amount of certitude that they claim that there is no God. I'm much more certain in one of those claims than I am the other. I'm much more certain that there is no God, at least not as described by the Christians, with the qualities that the Christians give him. I'm much more positive that the Judeo-Christian Muslim God does not exist, Yahweh does not exist, than I am about the non-existence of a dimension of reality that governs the mind. There's sort of evidence for one and not for the other, so I'm not going to dismiss it until it's definitively been disproved. When we understand the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th dimension of reality, when we run out of dimensions of reality to discover and none of them are the mind zone, then you will have thoroughly disproved that there is just no connect. They're just like, we do not live in a metaphysical universe where the mind can control anything. But right now, thanks to the observer effect and the way quarks act when we look at them, versus how they must act when we're not looking at them, it doesn't seem like the mind is a negligible force in the universe. The mind seems to have a little of an effect on the universe. There's some metaphysical shit going on. And so, maybe the mind can exist separately from the body, but I don't think we should act like it should. Because again, that is making a claim about the universe that we have no evidence for. So ultimately, despite having given way to mystical atheism and woo-woo magical thinking and being a wizard and all that, at the end of the day, if you were to put a gun to my head and be like, do you believe in the gods and spirits and such? I would have to say no. I'd have to say no. And I'd have to say that, yes, at my core, I am still a naturalist. I'm still an atheist. I still believe that nature holds the answers to life's questions. I've just developed personal beliefs over time that I think positively affect my life and the lives of others. That way, that Tao, that order, is something that I lost when I gave up religion, and something that I've managed to compensate with my discovery of sorcery and magic. It fills a void in me to strongly believe in something and to have infallible beliefs that are just true for me, and a way by which I can gain strength beyond myself. Magic allows me to gain a strength beyond myself. It's like drawing on the power of the Force, you know? I consider my magical practice very similar to that of a Jedi. It relies on a lot of martial arts. It relies on a lot of personal belief. It relies on connecting and understanding the patterns and flow of the universe. So I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me, and if that's a religion, I guess fuck thee, But that concludes this episode of The Blue Wizard. A little bit different of a thing today. I want to do something shorter. This is The Blue Wizard signing out.